Later this year, we might be getting the announcement for the Starcraft FPS we have waited so long for. What are the pros? What are the cons? What are my chief concerns? And you know what? At this point, I just want more Starcraft. Hello, everybody. It's your boy Jmulls. And you want to know what I think?
Hell, it's about time.
So we have a report from Jez Corden basically going over what he expects Xbox to have in 2026. And if you scroll down a bit, we get to this paragraph. At BlizzCon 2026, Blizzard's big convention where they announce a bunch of stuff, I thoroughly expect to see new expansions revealed for Diablo 4 alongside World of Warcraft's The Last Titan. We should also get major updates for Overwatch and Hearthstone, and potentially other new mobile game reveals. Huzzah! There's been a long-held rumors of an Overwatch mobile game on the horizon. Don't you guys have phones? For example, and I've heard another Warcraft mobile game project is in gestation because the last one panned out so well. The headline for BlizzCon 2026 is most likely going to be Starcraft. It was previously reported that Starcraft is getting the third-person shooter treatment, and I confirmed these reports true via my own sources a while back. And the article that is linked is also from Windows Central, this time by Samuel Tolbert. For a third time, Blizzard Entertainment is trying to make this famous game into a shooter. Will it succeed this time? For those of you younger than 25, a StarCraft shooter has been something that has been talked about for a long time. The old title was StarCraft Ghost, and as you can see here, and the lesser-known Project Ares. For those that don't know exactly what StarCraft is all about, imagine a rip of Warhammer 40k, and that's kind of StarCraft, but it is awesome. And it was one of the biggest faces for the RTS genre for the longest time, and then the RTS genre just kind of died off. I really wish they would bring that back. Like, I grew up on StarCraft 2. I loved that game so much. It was the only real esport I ever actually cared about as well. And there were three main factions. The Human Terran, which were basically your Space Marines. You had the Zerg, which were basically like the Tyranids. Like, they're basically just biological life forms that evolve, consume, en masse, etc., etc. And you're the technologically advanced Protoss. If you've ever heard phrases like, my life for ire, we require additional pylons, it comes from StarCraft. It was a heavily inspirational series. But ever since StarCraft started to make less money than like mounts that would be added to the Blizzard store for World of Warcraft, I wish I was joking about that, they just haven't really prioritized and have borderline forgotten StarCraft. And while I personally would love to see the return of the RTS games as well, a StarCraft shooter has been something that I've been wanting since I was a kid. So I'm going to be excited by the idea that it could finally be coming into fruition here. From the report, as covered in his book, Jason Schreier explained that after the cancellation of Blizzard's survival game following Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard King, most of that team was laid off. A handful remained, and are incubating a StarCraft shooter under the leadership of Dan Hay, a veteran developer who previously worked on Ubisoft's Far Cry franchise. And in this Dexter report, new StarCraft game reportedly set for BlizzCon 2026 reveal, but it's not what you think. Scroll a bit down and you'll find these paragraphs. Is this new game StarCraft 3? Well, anything is possible, but it doesn't look likely. As Shire's reporting indicated, a StarCraft game has been in the works for a number of years now, but it's framed as a third-person shooter. Hello, Space Marine 2. Beyond that, we have little else to go off. Job listings discovered in 2024 pointed to a PvE game with stories told over multiple seasons, but it's unclear if they're connected to the reported StarCraft game. There's also no quite telling if it will feature a single-player campaign or focus primarily on multiplayer, nor is there any indication of how it might play moment to moment.
It's about time.
I'm really in two minds when it comes to this game. One, I have been wanting a StarCraft shooter of any kind, FPS, third person, for the better part of my life. So the idea that we're finally going to see that come into fruition here, at least reportedly, that excites me. I also love the StarCraft IP. And the idea that it's coming back in any shape or form, that does excite me. And the fact that we haven't heard the phrases extraction shooter or battle royale at all when it comes to this makes me so happy on a deep personal level. Like, you can feel the light like coming back into my cold, weary soul. And if we get an actual campaign / story mode with this, maybe a traditional like arena style like multiplayer associated with it as well, that could be really dang good. Because we know Blizzard are fundamentally capable of making a fun and interesting shooter. They did it with Overwatch when it first came out. It's just they never really expanded on the lore in an interesting way with an actual in-game campaign. That was good. And the Starcraft universe is so interesting, not just because it's basically 40k, but because they've made it unique with interesting factions, interesting characters. And if they're able to really nail this, I feel that could be a good indication of Blizzard turning a corner, because I have been greatly enjoying World of Warcraft over the last year or so. They've made great strides to improve that game. When it comes to the story, they're not all the way there yet. If they were here and we want them here, currently I think they're like about here. But if they can nail this, and yeah, this could be absolutely copium, who knows? We haven't even gotten the announcement of this thing yet. But if they nail this game, that would just make me so happy. Now, I did say I was in two minds about it, because it might be called Starcraft, but people know Starcraft and love Starcraft as an RTS game. Now, I don't think this necessarily means or translates to the idea that we're not going to get another Starcraft RTS game at some point in the future. But I think it's fair to say, for a lot of people, myself included, it does feel like the only reason we're seeing Starcraft again is because it isn't an RTS game. It's a shooter, reportedly. And that does kind of suck, because Blizzard made my favorite RTS games of all time. Warcraft 3 was awesome. Starcraft 2 was awesome. What I've played of Starcraft 1, also awesome. Would I love to see Warcraft 4? Would I love to see Starcraft 3 at some point in time in the future? Beyond a shadow of a doubt. But I still think there's quite a few things Blizzard needs to improve on overall. I don't think people have forgotten the sting of Overwatch 2. The sting of Diablo 4, though apparently that game's like way better now. And it's not like that game isn't popular either. And the sting of the low points of World of Warcraft that they haven't fully rectified yet. I feel as if just one of the biggest concerns a lot of people are going to have when this game gets announced, and if they don't show enough, are Blizzard just going to make it lame? Because that's one of Blizzard's biggest issues nowadays. They just make a lot of things lame. Starcraft had this cool aura to it back in the day. I mean, remember the cinematics they would put out for the expansions of Starcraft 2? They were insanely good. The Heart of the Swarm cinematic is still one of the best cinematics I've ever seen for a game of all time.
It's about time.
Don't tell me no one ever cared about Starcraft. Bro, this cinematic had 43 million views. Look at this thing. Like, look at this cinematic. It still holds up to this day. It looks awesome. Can you imagine a shooter with this overall aesthetic, this vibe? How cool that would be? Again, yeah, kind of Space Marine 2, but StarCraft over the years branched itself out and tried to have cool, unique elements to it. And I think it works. Look how awesome that is. Imagine trying to fight an Ultralisk in a third-person shooter environment, with rows of siege tanks transforming on demand. Like, if this is a playable, like, indication of what the StarCraft shooter game could feel or look like, this would be absolutely, positively awesome beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's no reason a shooter for StarCraft overall couldn't be awesome. They just have to nail it. And I feel that's the biggest trepidation people have when it comes to modern Blizzard. They fear they aren't able to nail it. I mean, come on. Look how awesome, how grandiose, how cool this is overall. It's awesome. Imagine if we had playable Protoss, by the way. And instead of just shooting things, you had the arm blades the Protoss have. Like, imagine if this was playable as well. This would be awesome, dude. It'd be so dang cool and would give you a variety of experiences gameplay-wise. A shooter set in the StarCraft universe could be so dang good, they just have to nail it. That's the only thing. They have to get it right. Could they get it right? Absolutely. It's possible. And I think the potential a StarCraft shooter could have would be a 10 out of 10 experience. Imagine having a scene like this. Yeah? This is a cutscene, imagine, going into a level, and then it cuts to gameplay. How awesome would that be? Imagine being able to have a section where you turn into a giant Archon like that. It would be so dang cool. Look, I completely understand why people would be pessimistic, and you're not gonna hear me try to say that you're wrong for feeling pessimistic. Because quite frankly, you're right. Over the last decade, if not more, Blizzard have given us plenty of reason to doubt them at every turn. And yeah, if they announce this, and it just turns out to be like an extraction shooter, or if I hear the phrase Battle Royale, I'm going to get upset. I want Blizzard to stop trying to chase trends. Just make a really good video game. Have it be cool. Let there be really cool characters doing really cool things. I want Starcraft to actually be back again. God, I hope they get this right.
It's about time.
And here's where you come in. Leave a comment down below with what faction were you in StarCraft, because I was mainly Protoss. And also, how are you feeling about this shooter for StarCraft? Are you like me where you also want to see an RTS game at some point in the future? What do you want to see out of this shooter? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. And while you're down there, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. And speaking of Blizzard writing, we have a prophecy that apparently foresaw everything that was going to happen in the Warcraft story. Here we go again. Want to find out more? You should check out this video about World of Warcraft's next expansion, Midnight, right here. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.